Aloha. Since you're watching this, I have to assume that you've at least heard some things about infinite banking. You may even have a good understanding of the concept and how it works. But the claim that infinite banking is the best, and what I find myself saying most often to describe the infinite banking tax-free cash growth warehouse as the most powerful finance strategy in history, may seem to you like a bit of hyperbole. So to start this off, I'll show you a list of attributes that I'm going to talk about. Then, after you've heard the evidence, you decide, is infinite banking indeed the best, most powerful finance strategy in history? Okay, so I've got 10 points listed here, and there's another one, at least one more that I haven't listed. I'll try to remember to mention the one that I'm thinking about right now when I'm done discussing these points, and I'll be as brief as I can. So the points we'll talk about here are versatility, liquidity, risk-free, unrestricted use, invisible to the IRS, bankruptcy lawsuits, student loans, social services, guaranteed tax-free growth, tax-deductible loans, emergency fund, fully protected, line of credit sweep. I'm Stan Cox, principal broker and strategist with SC Finance Strategies and Insurance Consultants. I'm also the author of the books on the tax-free cash growth warehouse strategy, and I'm the managing director of the Hawaii Financial Free Thinkers Academy, a nonprofit financial literacy education organization. For the past several years, I've focused on and specialized in the infinite banking concept and the tax-free cash growth warehouse finance strategy. So I am qualified to speak authoritatively on this topic. The first point is versatility. When you've established an infinite banking account, which I call tax-free cash growth warehouse, you do indeed have the most versatile finance account there is. We'll discuss these points individually, but the account is a liquid savings account and a growth account. But what makes it uniquely versatile is that it is not only liquid. That is, you can withdraw from it at will, but you can also leverage it as collateral for a very low, simple interest loan. Some of the great aspects of these leverage loans are you don't need to justify the loan, you don't need a credit check, and you don't sign any agreement to repay the loan. You certainly can and probably should repay the loans eventually, but it's entirely on your terms if and when you do. And if you don't repay the loans, it does not affect your credit score. Liquidity. As I just explained, the account is a fully liquid asset, but only for you, the owner of the account. That is, not even the government can see the account. It's not visible to the IRS or any other government agency. You can withdraw from it or leverage it like the king or queen you are over your domain. So many of the attributes are overlapping. So let me talk a bit about the protections that are inherent with infinite banking. I already mentioned that your account is invisible to the IRS and other government agencies. So what does that mean? Well, when a person applies for a student loan, for example, all your assets are looked at to determine if you qualify for the loan. But your infinite banking asset is not considered. If down the road you need long-term care or something that you need to apply to Social Security or Medicaid for, again, this asset is invisible. If you file for bankruptcy, this asset is invisible. If you're sued or for any other reason your assets are frozen, seized, or garnished, your infinite banking account is untouchable. I call that bulletproof protection. Now let's talk about risk-free and guaranteed growth. One of the greatest attributes of infinite banking accounts is that they are guaranteed a minimum compounding interest rate of 2%. That's the absolute bare minimum that will be credited annually, and it's compounding. The accounts I've been working with since the newest 7702 ruling came out, which lowered the minimum allowable interest rate, are still guaranteeing 3.5% as the minimum. If that were it, that would still be the highest interest rate by far of any other saving vehicle going. But that's not it. No, there's dividends on top of the guaranteed minimum. And what's great about both the dividends and minimum interest rate is that they are not at risk. That is, they are not tied to the stock market or government bonds or anything that is at risk of failure. So the infinite banking accounts are risk-free and guaranteed to grow at high compounding rate. Oh, and all that growth is tax-free. Yep. And the growth remains tax-free as long as you don't actually withdraw the gains from the account. But we already talked about leveraging the asset with loans that you don't even have to pay back, and loans aren't taxable. So why would you ever withdraw the actual gains anyway? While we're on the subject of leverage loans, here's another awesome advantage of infinite banking. When you leverage your asset to buy anything for your business, now that could be a little side hustle business like an eBay store or selling at a swap meet, anything that you have a GE license for, you can actually deduct the interest on the leverage loan from your income tax. So while your account grows tax-free, it can also provide you with a tax deduction. You may have noticed that these things we're talking about not only have the benefit of saving you money and making you money, but they also reduce your tax liability. For example, if you have money in any other account earning anything at all for you, you have to report those gains to the IRS and pay tax on them. Not so with your infinite banking gains. Obviously, your infinite banking account is a liquid asset you can tap into for emergencies. So it's a no penalties, no tax emergency fund. We've talked about how liquid and accessible the asset is for the owner of the account. So it goes without saying that as the owner of the account, you have unrestricted use of the funds. One use that many people find to be a huge benefit is as a tax-free retirement income. And even if you should retire early, as in before you reach age 59 and a half, you can access your funds with no penalty, as is not the case with qualified retirement accounts, like 401k, 403b, TSP, et cetera, et cetera. Now, here's a use that has multiple benefits all on its own. That is, you can use your tax-free cash growth warehouse as a personal line of credit. Well, of course. But in this reference, I'm talking about utilizing the account to pay off debt in a fraction of the time without paying more than you do already. There's a specific strategy for this and method, which we explain in another video here on this channel. If you've heard of sweep strategies, 101 Financial or TARDIS Financial, they all teach the use of low interest loans with lines of credit to pay off higher interest loans, such as mortgages, car loans, credit cards, etc. So with your tax-free cash growth warehouse as your personal line of credit, you not only have a loan source with very low simple interest, which you can use to pay off higher interest debt, but you actually have a loan source that pays you. On that point, maybe the greatest advantage of all the advantages infinite banking provides is the fact that when your account is designed properly with the right company, even while you have all the money in your account leveraged, it is still receiving the high compounding interest and at a higher rate than what is being charged for the leveraging. So essentially, you get free loans while your asset continues to grow tax-free. And you can potentially get a tax deduction for the interest on the leveraged loans. I mean, I'm getting a little lightheaded thinking about all these unheard of advantages. Think about it. You can leverage your cash asset at a negative interest rate and invest in something that will produce gains for you. And if it's business related, such as a real estate flip, whatever, you can even deduct the interest charged, even though you essentially aren't even paying the interest. Holy smokes. I think I'm going to pass out here. Let me take a breath. Okay. I think I've actually talked about more than what was on my original list to start with, but there's at least one more attribute I need to mention on top of all the advantages I talked about already. Infinite banking also provides a death benefit, which essentially becomes a free benefit after just a few years. That is to say, after about 5 years of paying into your tax-free cash growth warehouse, 100% of your premium is going to be credited to the cash value of your account. And from that point on, your account will be gaining more and more as you are depositing, more and more than you are depositing because of the compounding dividend interest. And it snowballs from there. I said I'd keep it brief, so I'm going to wrap this up now. But I don't think there's any room for debate on whether infinite banking tax-free cash growth warehouse is in fact the most powerful and advantageous finance strategy in history. What do you say? Please let me know your comments and questions. Post them below. And please subscribe to this channel and click the like button. For more specifics on the infinite banking and how you can get your own tax-free cash growth warehouse going, watch our free 60-minute webinar. The link is in the description box below. How to become master of your financial world. The link to buy my books on Amazon.com is also below. And if you'd like to book a free phone consultation with me, the link to my Calendly page is also below. If you'd like to apply to become a client of ours, the link to the application is below. We're here to help, and we look forward to helping you. Aloha and mahalo for watching.